All right, hello. I'm gonna start making some videos about this new to me jewelry making process because I'm really excited about it. And I couldn't find a ton of information whenever I was first getting into this. But also I'm still in the learning process, and personally I feel like I learn best from following other people as they learn a new process, so you'll get to see the ups and downs and horrible mistakes and things that I've learned work better. So for this first video, I'm going to show the process of using clay to kind of attach stones to some findings and get it all put together and prepared for the electroforming process. So I'll make some separate videos about using the conductive paint, sealing your natural materials, whatever you are using, and hopefully you'll find it helpful. So here we go. You're gonna need a place for your art making, obviously. I've been using this mat because it kind of absorbs like the conductive paint and I'm not worried about the clay leaving a residue. But do your thing. It doesn't make the world's biggest mess. It's up to you. You'll need some kind of stone or object that you want to make your pendant with. I'm going to use this metal ring to attach the pendant to. Then you're going to need some wire cutters, potentially some needle nose pliers, some 2-part Apoxy Sculpt clay, ta-da, and some rubber gloves. So I'm going to put the gloves on, and then I'm going to open up the first half of the clay. And this is a kind of clay where you pull out equal parts. So you know, think about the size hunk of clay that you're gonna need, pull out half of that from one jar and half from the other. And you wanna use a different utensil in each jar, which isn't something I thought about at first. So I have this little wooden tool and it's not perfect. I've got a little bit of dirt on both ends, but generally I use one side for the lighter half and the other side for the other half. I ended up getting black epoxy kind of by accident. I just went to Amazon and ordered Apoxy Sculpt, and I honestly wasn't really thinking about like what color it was. I didn't even think about there being different colors because the whole plan is to cover it up with copper in the electroforming process. So I have 2 equal size pieces. So I just kind of bought the first one I clicked on and it was black, and then I don't know, it doesn't matter. All right, so you're supposed to mix it for 2 minutes. So here we go. All right, so now I have my clay blended together. I'm gonna set that to the side and let's see. Decide how I want this to sit. So the back of this Herkimer diamond is flat. So I'm trying to decide if I want the hoop to go really around the side of it. Don't really want to have it sit this way, I suppose. Like the point pointing up. All right, I think I'm gonna make it kind of nest in the hoop. So first with these, there's already a seam in there that you can kind of see, like right there. So I'm gonna try to make the first cut on, or at least pretty close to that. And then I'm just gonna kind of roughly measure. I'm gonna put my finger over here, or about where I want this second cut to be. Okay, and I keep it contained in my hand so the pieces don't fly across the room. All right, so I'm gonna have it sit about like that. First thing I'm gonna do is take my clay and just kind of stick a piece on each side, which I know isn't the most dainty way to do this, but it is what it is. And then I'm gonna attach my diamond. I say diamond, it's a Herkimer diamond, which I think Herkimer diamonds are really cool. They are actually quartz, but they're mined from a certain location in Herkimer, I believe it's New York. It's New York or New Jersey. Fairly certain it's New York. So, got it generally placed where I want it, so now I can use my tools to kind of move the clay around. And I feel like the trickiest thing with this clay is that it's really pliable when you first mix it together, which is kind of a good thing and kind of really irritating. Because, you know, I barely touch one side of it, it feels like, and the whole thing gets really lopsided, and it's keeps it fun. So I need to one thing I'm looking forward to hopefully doing is getting much better at actually shaping the clay. Right now, I don't have a significant amount of time to sit down and work on this at any point. So there's a lot of just kind of plonking things together, which I've been kind of, I think, mentally passing off as like, it's rustic, or looks really natural, it's great. And it's not the worst. I mean, I love the pieces I have. I wear them all the time. But I would really like to be able to get more creative with the clay itself and make it less of just a form of adhering pieces together and more of part of the artwork. So I try to at least make it somewhat symmetrical, which isn't going to be perfect because I am using an asymmetrical stone, and that's okay. And the back always gets kind of neglected. So I try, if nothing else, to keep from using so much clay that it's like obscuring the light from passing through the stone, because, you know, that's half the appeal of using crystals like these, is the way they shine and glimmer. And so if I cover all that up with clay, that's not going to help. So I'm going to try to make it look deliberate back here, aiming for like a point there in the middle. Okay. So there is my ring attached to my stone. So I'm going to try to organize this section a little bit more. I'm sure there are people watching this just screaming about how I'm using this clay tool, but you know what? I was using like a chopstick, so. To take a look, I'm such a shaky human, just forgive me. I always like to take a look from the top down to make sure that my ring is symmetrical. And then you should be good to let it dry. All right, so that's the very first step, getting the epoxy and whatever else attached to your object. That epoxy has to cure for about 24 hours. So I don't do anything with it until that's completely cured. And then the next step for this pendant is using conductive paint to paint any area that I want the copper to be attracted to. So that'll be the next video. Thanks for watching.